Hey guys, I'll give you a little time to slowly tune in. Happy Friday. I am so excited about the lives we're going to have today. We have two amazing boss ladies, Latinas, who are doing their thing, who I really admire. And I'm super excited to have them on today and talk a little bit about, what they do and what they're passionate about and how they're, hey sister, and how they're dealing, with this whole quarantine and this pandemic and everything. Hi, Victoria. I see Victoria is on here already. So I wanted to bring in these ladies, just to talk about how they're coping with everything and to talk about their businesses and all the amazing things they're doing. So without further ado, let me see if I can let Victoria in. And I'm so happy you guys are tuning in for my Fearless Fridays IG Live series. So give me one sec. Let's see if we can get Victoria on. I hope you guys can hear me. All right, cool.
Hey,
Hi,
how
Victoria.
are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day. Can't be mad at too much,
I
except the fact that
know.
I can't go outside. But other than that,
Right.
everything is good.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. Oh my God. I haven't spoken to you much during this time, but I'm so happy that you've been doing well.
I
Yes,
think well is relative. It depends. It depends
that is true.
on what we're talking about. But I'm definitely trying to keep myself busy. That is for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, always doing amazing things. And I wanted to bring you on because I wanted you to talk about all those great things that you've been working on and kind of, continue to help people and our viewers tonight cope with everything that's going on with the pandemic, and how to be productive during this time and things like that. So, and I also wanted to see your face because I haven't seen you in a while. So, yeah. But first and foremost, I want to say a cheers to you and your
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. Yo, thank you so much. Cheers, darling. Thank
Yes.
you.
Happy belated.
Thank you so
Happy
much. I
belated
appreciate that.
birthday.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. It's a blessing, right? To be celebrating another birthday. So that's
Yes,
wonderful,
it is.
despite everything that's going on.
Correct. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I
Yes.
tell myself. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So happy birthday to you.
Thank you,
Yay.
Mama.
Yeah, so let's get right to it. Just let everyone know your name and a little bit of your story and how you transitioned from the corporate world and the female collaborative and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so hey everybody, Victoria Jen. Nice to meet you guys. So, okay, my story. So, right now I'm a serial entrepreneur. I run three businesses. I have a not-for-profit, the Female Collaborative. I also have a consulting company that I run, as well as Victoria Jen, the brand that I run. After 15 years in corporate, 3 years ago, I decided to become an entrepreneur full time. And ever since, it's been the scariest ride of my life, the most stomach uphill experience of my life. When you're on a roller coaster and your stomach goes like, oh shit, we just went
Yeah.
really high. Or, you go around in one of those circles or make a sharp right or sharp left. It's kind of been like that. It's been a roller coaster ever since, but it's definitely been super rewarding as well. And excited about the journey, excited about the process, and seeing how far I can take it.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, you've been doing amazing things. But before we even go into that, let's talk a little bit about what you were doing in the corporate world and what you were doing, what pushed you to become an entrepreneur.
Sure. So I started in sales and trading at Lehman Brothers, and that's what I did straight out of school. I was there for like 6 years. Then Lehman went under, and I joined the nonprofit space where I raised money. I worked on legislation. I worked on programming for professionals of color. And that role transitioned me back into corporate, where I was now doing talent acquisition and talent management, HR, frankly. I did that for a few years, ended up at a number of marquee companies. My last role in corporate, I was the head of talent management at Johnson & Johnson, and they let me go. Well, they wanted to move me to Tampa, and I was like, "You're gonna put me in Tampa? You put me in Miami, honey. You don't put me in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry." And after they let me go, I was still looking for another job because I love corporate. I love traveling on their dime. I love the benefits.
That's true.
I love corporate. I had no problems with corporate. But what was happening is I was going on a number of interviews and I wasn't able to close the deal. And I was like, I'm a closer. Like, something's going on here. Like, I'm used to closing. And I took that as a sign from the universe to just bet 1000% on myself and see what I could do, see what I could create. I had started my consulting company as a side hustle when I was still in corporate. So I had, some experience already, had some clientele already. So when nobody would hire me, I was like, you know what, I'm going to hire myself and I'm going to invest in me, my business. I had a savings that, if I needed to fall back on, I was good. And just took a leap of faith. And 3 years later, I'm still here.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. And I feel like that's a lot of our stories when we're becoming entrepreneurs. I think it's super great that you started your side hustle, which turned into your moneymaker while you were still in corporate. So I think that's like, something that we push, and something that's a great idea. Like, don't just, fully go into something. Definitely test it out and test the market and see if it's your niche and things like that. So that's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about how you shifted into the new entrepreneurship world and how you were able to generate leads and clients and things like that, and what that, what struggle that looked like.
So when I first started, it was very different than where I am now. My business has evolved multiple times. I started new businesses. When I first became an entrepreneur, I just had my consulting company. And at my consulting company, I basically worked one-on-one with people, coaching. I worked, shout out, hey, I see some clients on here. Shout out to you guys. One-on-one coaching. I did consulting for institutional clients around strategy, talent strategy management. I did resume reviews. I did interview training. So that's how it started, because my last role was in human resources, right? Talent acquisition, talent management. So I was like, okay, naturally, I'm going to take all those skills and I'm going to go sell it and have people come to me. And I did that for a little bit. And then as I kept going on my journey, my business shifted. It evolved. Checks were coming from different places. So now I no longer do resume reviews. I no longer do interview training as my sole business. I mean, it's something I can do. It's not something that I sell a lot, but that's where I started. And so, the advice I would give anybody who's interested in starting a business is start with what you know, right? Start with what you have the skill set at. Tell people about it and let them pay you for it, right? So that's where you start. And then you start thinking bigger scale once you're able to get that going, because that'll give you full fuel and give you the confidence you need. Like, oh, I could really do this. I'm making some money right now. I can really turn it into something. Then you start thinking big picture, like, okay, how do I go after institutional money? Because they write the big checks, right? So when I first started, I was very much business to consumer. And then as I continued to learn and grow, I became business to business, because that's where the big checks come in. And when you think about your money, and your time, my motto is always, work smarter instead of harder. So if there's a way for me to work less and get paid more, that sounds like where I want to be. And so that's exactly what I started spending my time in, is like, okay, how can I make more money and work less? Sometimes that worked out, sometimes didn't, because honey, I am working, okay? Whether they're big checks, small checks, your girl is working. I've been working the hardest ever, but that's really because, I want to push it. I want to push it to the limit, and I have more dreams. I have more goals, and I'm still pivoting. I'm still seeing like what is the ultimate one thing I want to do. So for right now, I'm like doing a lot of trial and error, seeing what works. I've been able to build a number of hustles, such as starting, the Female Collaborative was a business I never anticipated to start when I started my journey as an entrepreneur. It just came about because it was an opportunity, and I was like, oh, not only can I give back, but I can also get paid for it. I was was like, all
Right.
right, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna go and do this. And at the same time, I can build this amazing community of women, you know. You
Yes,
came to the Women Who Roar Summit. And so
I did. Yes, yes.
you know, that's been fun. And that's something that I probably never would have done if I was still in corporate, right? Because being an
Right.
entrepreneur and going through that experience forced me to think outside the box. It put me in survivor mode. It put me in like, okay, V, well, now what you gonna do, right? What you gonna
Right.
create out of this? And just paying attention to the signs and not being afraid to be flexible.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Before we get into the female collaborative, I want to ask you, what were some of the challenges you faced when you first launched your entrepreneurship company, your solo company on your own?
Some challenges that I faced were I faced so many. I'm trying to think what would be the most
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the challenges that I faced had to do with me. So it was taking a hard
Mm-hmm.
look at me and saying, okay, Victoria, you're a little lazy. So what you gonna do
Right.
to step it up a notch, right? So it was like those challenges, because with that much freedom, like people look at entrepreneurship and they think it's sexy, they think it's
Mm-hmm.
exotic. They're like, oh my God, everybody's doing it. Like, yeah, I want to give my 9 to 5 the deuces and I want to do this. And it sounds so much fun. I want my own thing. But what they don't realize is you're going to work the hardest you've ever worked.
Yes.
Like, trust me, corporate is easy. That's easy. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That's easy compared to running your own thing if you're actually trying to make it something, right? If you're just playing
Right.
with it, then okay, it's no big deal. That's such a
Mm-hmm.
but if not, it's like a reality check that you have to give yourself, and nobody's monitoring you. It's just you. And so you have to get really self-disciplined and waking up early, because when you ain't got no job, you're like, oh, I can wake up whenever I want. Like, I don't have to
Yes.
check in anywhere. Nobody's supervising me. I'm not going to get fired. You know what I mean? And so these are all things that you have to realize about yourself, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not cut up for this stuff, right? It takes a certain type of person and a certain level of insanity, quite frankly, because you're gonna go crazy, because you're gonna work your ass off, and it's not easy. And so I think my biggest challenge was coming to that realization with myself, like, B, you really cut out for this? Do you really want to do this? And I
Right.
had to ask myself those questions. I still ask myself those questions. Like, do you really want to do this? Like, you know, I've been
Yeah.
fortunate enough to build, you know, 15 years in corporate. I've built an expansive network. So if I ever want to go back, there's a lane for me to go
Yes.
back. And I always keep that in mind. But there's always good to have a plan B. However, some
Yes.
people would argue against me and be like, well, if you got a plan B, then you ain't about this life. And
Right.
my thing is, if I was going to do the entrepreneur route, I wanted to do it my way. I was never going to be the entrepreneur that's sleeping on a friend's couch eating, you know, ramen noodles out of a cup. Like, no, honey, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do it
Exactly.
my style, or else it's not for me, because I want to do
Right.
it this way. And if I can't do it this way, then I'm going to take my ass right back to corporate, get my 6 figures from corporate, and do it that way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
made that promise to myself, and everybody has to decide what's best for them and get real with themselves about, do you really have what it takes? And is this something you really want? Because it's one thing to say it, there's another thing to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like that you said that one of your challenges was to like check yourself basically, right? Like, all right, are you going to get up every day? Are you going to get up early? And I'm glad you brought that up, because now that we're going through this quarantine, a lot of people are working remotely, and also a lot of entrepreneurs lost their like wave, you know, because now a lot of businesses shut down,
Right.
everything is remote, you know, everyone's a little bit in a frenzy. Like, what are we going to do? So I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of us, that's what we've had to deal with now. So it's like, okay, we're working remote, but we still need to get up early. It's not about just clocking in and going back to bed. Like, we need to be productive. Yes. And
Right.
that's something that I know I made sure that I started right away. Like, I created the schedule for myself, and I was like, all right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get up, and then lunch break, you're going to work out, and you're going to do this and that, because you do get comfortable.
Mhm.
You do
It's
get
very, I mean,
comfortable.
it's kind of like you're in your comfortable space. Home is your comfortable
Yes.
space. So you see the couch, you see the TV, you see your bed, and you're like, "Mm." And then on top of that, you know, you're dealing with the emotions of going through a pandemic, you know, which kind of weighs heavy on you and it weighs you down. So you have to put even more of an effort to show up, right? And show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And so that type of self-discipline is a skill, and it's something that grows, and you have to really be able to commit, or else you're just going to half-ass it. And if you half-ass it, you're going to get half-ass results.
Right, absolutely. And another good thing that you said was that you were building your network while you were still in corporate, which is also another great tool and another great thing for people to take notes and write down on, because while you're in corporate, while you're working in your career, that is the best thing to do, especially if you decide that you have this great idea, you want to become an entrepreneurship, then you should be building your network while you're still there, because those are one of the first people you're gonna, you know, share your idea with as soon as you start your entrepreneurship journey. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And networking is super important. You know, networking, I consider myself a networking queen. Like, I'm a relationship builder, but that's because it comes natural to me, right? So I love people. I love engaging with people. And so that piece becomes easy to me and something I actually enjoy, which is why I stick to it, right? And I'm able to grow it. But, you know, for those who are not, you know, natural kind of networkers or introverts, what you need to do is you need to build out scripts for yourself, so you don't have to do too much thinking and you're able to just spit it out. So if you know you're going to an event where you're looking to sell yourself, have your 90-second pitch ready, practice it, good to go. And because the more thought you put into it, you're going to psych yourself out. Your palms are going to get sweaty and you're like, I really don't want to freaking be here. And you're not going to show up in your best light because you're not prepared, right? Right. And I find that that works really well for like introverts or people who don't like networking. And then also give yourself some slack. Like, listen, these people are just like you, whether they're a doctor or Michelle Obama. They still got to put on their pants the same way as you. They still wake up and brush their teeth like you. They still bleed when they get a cut. Like, stop putting these people on a pedestal and start viewing them as your peer instead of your superior or somebody that's so out of reach for you. Because once you kind of adapt that mindset, you'll start becoming more comfortable in your own skin and not put so much pressure on the fact of you having to just have a conversation with anyone, because that's what it is. And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be a straight pitch. It should be an actual conversation, because people are not trying to be sold to. And also people want to meet interesting people too. Like, you know, make it interesting, make it something to talk about. And, you know, if you find that there's nothing good to talk about, then don't talk to that person no more. It's okay to be like, this has been great. Thanks so much for your time. Go stage left and go talk to somebody else, right? So sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves and make it seem like it's more complicated than what it is, and more scary than really what it is, because these people are just like you in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's so true. And a lot of times, you know, these professionals who have more, you know, a little bit more experience and been in the game a little longer than you, they're also coming to these places hoping to have these great conversations, because sometimes they do meet those dead end people that it's like, you know, this is really not an interest in the conversation they're having. So keep that in mind also. And I would say too, like, when you start a business, you know, like you did, like, it's something that you're passionate about. So when you're passionate about something, even though you're an introvert or whatever it is, just speak on the passion about it, you know. And I think that that'll help you, you know, continue the conversation a little better. I say that because I can be an introvert. So that's something that I've been practicing. And because, you know, I'm passionate about what I do, like, the conversation just flows a little better than otherwise.
And people respect heart. People respect passion. And, you know, it'll make them stand there and listen to you, at least for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, definitely speak with the passion, because people gravitate to that and they respect that. Shout out to all the female collab members in here that I see. I see you guys.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk about how have you been maximizing during COVID? I know you have a lot of great projects that you're working on. So share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah. One more thing that I wanted to share is on the networking piece, because I got this tip from Alicia Reese, who's somebody that I love. And she said, when you go up to somebody, instead of saying like, what do you do? Ask them, what are you passionate about? What is something personally you're working on? Like, start the conversation like that instead of asking them, what do you do? And instead, like, get to know them personally, which will throw them off guard, because everybody's been asking them, well, what do you do? You know, so just ask them, like, what are you passionate about? And then it'll be easier for you to get into your groove, because you'll be talking from a place of passion. So to answer your question, what am I doing during quarantine to maximize? I've just been trying to be, you know, doing what I was always doing, but trying to think more creatively about how I show up. How am I using social media? How am I, you know, engaging with my network, right? Like having this conversation with you right now. How should I expand the community, and how should I still have fun? You know, yesterday I was in this major funk, and I'm going to have a session of balcony confessions today. So this is something I started.
Yes.
So I started balcony confessions during quarantine, which was my way of being completely vulnerable with my audience, being totally unscripted, you know, and just telling you what's going through my mind, what am I working through, you know, what am I thinking, and that's been fun for me, right? So those balcony confessions, you know, for somebody new or somebody who doesn't know me and they just see my feed, they might think, oh my God, this girl has it all together. She does this, she does that, and you know, nobody has it all together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's always things that somebody's doing that they're not completely secure about, and so balcony
Mm-hmm.
confessions is meant to do that. And one of the things I'm going to share is about how, you know, between last night and the day before, I was in this funk where I felt like I wasn't having fun. I felt like I forgot about the appreciation of the process because I was just thinking about money. And I was like, how am I going to get this money? Where's my next check coming from? You know, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And then today I had the blessing of speaking to somebody who is now my mentor. Like, she nailed it today. I was like, oh, that's it. We connected for life. You're my mentor. And it was super impromptu. I was actually interviewing her to be a board member for the female collab. And it just so happened that it totally shifted to me, and I loved it. And it was like the power talk that I needed to remind myself to appreciate the process and appreciate what makes this fun, and appreciate the moment that you can do what comes fun to you, and
Yeah.
stop trying to put so much pressure in figuring everything out. The opportunity right now that you can maximize on is everybody's thinking about reinvention, and everybody's thinking about, well, what can I do next, and what do I do? So that's a good thing, because if we didn't go through this pandemic, you probably wouldn't do it, because you have a million other excuses to tell you why you shouldn't or will distract you. Now it's like, okay, we stuck inside. How am I going to maximize this, and how am I going to make it mean the most to me? Right. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what's important. And what we all have to remember is, like, don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to enjoy it. And don't forget to take risks. Like, who cares? If it doesn't work out, who cares?
Exactly.
We're in a global pandemic. Who cares? Like, seriously, like, people are got bigger fish to fry right now. Like, they're worried about other things. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. I agree.
um have fun with it. So, you know, that's one of the things I'm maximizing on. Another thing that I'm maximizing on is meeting new people. People are home. People are online. Reach out. The
Mm-hmm.
Woman Who Wore series, it's been incredible how many dope women I've been able to bring on that show. Like Soledad
Yes.
O'Brien, you know,
Yes.
Rosanna Scotto, Tahiri Jose, Chachi, Nicole Lionel, like all these women that I've always wanted to work with and always collab with. I found a way, right?
Yeah.
By asking them to be on the series. And that would have probably not happened if the pandemic didn't happen, because I would have been focused on other shit, right? But
Right.
now I can focus on cool stuff and, like, meet people that I've always wanted to meet. And people are answering, people are available, right? So
Yeah.
take advantage of that availability, because you're not going to get it once this passes and it's back to routine somewhat. You know what I mean? People are going to be like, I'm too busy. Now it's
I
like,
agree.
what
Mm-hmm.
you busy with? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
right. And
Yes.
so now it's like you have a great opportunity to work with people you've always want to work with, or reach out. So that's another way that I'm maximizing it. And then lastly, I'm maximizing it by really learning who I really want to be, and what stamp I want to leave on this world, and what legacy I want to build, and really asking those tough questions of myself. Like, all right, B, you've done well. You've done well. But what are you gonna do to set this shit on fire? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, what are you gonna do to set this shit on fire? And that should be exciting, you know? That should be exciting, figuring that stuff out. And so I've been maximizing on that, on like that self-reflection. Like, all right, V, like, what do you really want to do? What do you want to be known for? Like, what is your identity? You know what I mean? Like, and do you want to keep the same identity? Do you want to reinvent yourself? And I'm very much in a state of transformation. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and something that we're all able to maximize now because we are forced to. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, everyone's complaining about being bored and being outside. I mean, no, this is the time to be still and figure things out. This is the
Right.
time to also learn more about yourself. You know,
Right.
you're alone with yourself. Learn what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, why certain things haven't happened in the past. I couldn't agree with you more. That is so true. And the connecting part is absolutely 100% true. Everyone is on their social media platforms right now because that's what we can use.
Right.
So whoever you wanted to reach out to them now. Whatever, anything you want to learn, you can learn it, you know, for free or at a very affordable cost right now. Definitely jump on it. I know I've learned so much from different webinars I've jumped on for the past almost 3 months. Also watching your Women Who Roar live, like that's been amazing and motivating and encouraging, you know. So definitely this is the time to like fill yourself with all of this greatness that's going to motivate you to do what you got to do. I couldn't agree more because we live in New York. This is like a fast-paced, you know, city. So we're always on the go. We're either on the train to work, on the car to work, always doing something. This is the time.
Right. And now is the time to literally pour into yourself, invest into yourself, you know, make the magic happen, you know, for yourself, because after this, there's no excuse. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, oh, well, you had the time, you had the opportunity. So you was half-assed, and, you know, that's something you're going to have to live with. But I just want to take this moment to say, listen, it's about to be a beautiful weekend. It's a beautiful day today. Do not forget, my people, that we are still in a global pandemic and there still is no vaccine. So as much as you're anxious to get your ass outside, trust me, I'm anxious. I'm an outside girl. Me and you would be having this conversation on a rooftop.
Yes.
That's where we would be right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And so I'm anxious too, but like, I really am not going outside this summer. Like, you will not catch me at a beach. You will not catch me at anything. Like, people are really discounting how serious this is. And it's like, you guys are like, I'm not going to play myself for a slight moment of joy to go to the beach and not be able to reap the rewards of all this work I'm putting in, right? All this work I'm putting in and building. Like, I got too much to accomplish. I got too many people to bless. I got too many lives to change to just be tempted by good weather. Like, and that's what it goes back to, the self-discipline, please. Like, if you don't got the self-discipline to keep your ass in the house during a global pandemic just because it's hot outside, you don't have the self-discipline to own a home business, baby. A profitable business, you ain't got it. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. So I just want to remind everybody, like, keep your ass inside. Like, this summer, I'm looking at it like Drake is somebody I admire, and I really love his hustle and his grind. And, you know, he says in interviews all the time that there's summers he literally stays outside so that you can rock out to his songs in the fall and the winter. And that's like how I feel that I'm on. Like, I'm locked in and loaded, honey. Like, locked in and loaded, because I'm going to win outside of this. And that's how everybody, you know, should be thinking. I think the time for you to, you know, there's still an emotional component. Like, I still watch the news and I'm like, ay, Dios mío. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? You know? But, you know, you need to be strong enough to control your emotions and not let your emotions control you. And that's in business, and that'll really help you in your personal life as well. You know, we've been in this for a while. We know what it is. So now it's like, okay, now you understand the landscape. So now it's like, plot. You know? Plot. What am I going to do here? What am I going to do here? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And continue to get in on conversations like this. Call your friends who motivate you and inspire you, because it's an emotional roller coaster. So there's going to be days like I just went through yesterday. There was a day where I was just like, you know what I mean? It was one of those days. And today I'm like, hi. Today I'm like, oh no, it's takeover time, you know? But that's because I got people in my network, conversations that I had that reignited that fire in me. And we all need that. So do it. Take the advantage of those conversations.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing but distraction out there. So we were so easily distracted before. Now is the time to listen to yourself and do what you need to do.
Right.
1000%. Yeah, because like you said, we would have been somewhere else having this conversation. And it's Friday. We would have been in happy hour somewhere.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, we would
So yeah,
have.
absolutely. Yes. Um, so before we move on to some fun stuff, I do want to talk a little bit about the Women Who Roar series. But before we move on to that, maybe if you can give us some advice or some pointers, like how have you been successful with engagement with the Female Collaborative and also with your entrepreneurship company with the corporate world? How have you been doing the engagement? Because you're really good at it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the engagement piece is showing up. A lot of it is a lot of just showing up and being vulnerable enough to share yourself with people, let them come on your journey. You know, that's what people want to hear. People want to feel like they can relate to you before they buy from you, right? People buy into brands and people that they can see themselves in, or that they feel like proud to rock it or be a part of it. So the
Mm-hmm.
Female Collaborative, we've been able to build that because we're speaking to women who are ready to check the BS at the door, not stand in other women's way, and show up and collaborate so they can make money together, they could create legacy together. So it's a mindset, right? It's a behavior that all of them have, that they're just tired of the norm, they're tired of the BS, and they're just ready to get to work and like collect these coins, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time become better people, right? Because it's about personal revitalization as well. And so we've been able to grow that by social media, by our corporate partners, by me talking about it all day, every day, my board members talking about it, and just having a solid team to get us to the next place. And just staying top of mind and present, right? And communicating with people helps a lot with engagement and
Mm-hmm.
also marketing, right? Letting people know what's going on, letting people know when you have a win, letting people know when you have a loss, right? That vulnerability will definitely help you build your community. In the corporate space with engagement, you know, I'm on LinkedIn heavy. So that's, to me, LinkedIn is where I play for corporate. I play for corporate on LinkedIn. On Instagram, I play for the personal connection, right? But on LinkedIn, put some personal stuff on there as well, but it's also very much along the lines of the type of consulting that I run. I put that
Mm-hmm.
out there because, you know, it's different platforms. You have to put different content on those platforms
Right.
because people, you know, people on LinkedIn are looking for insights. They're looking for value. They're looking for, you know, how can I do this? How can I get from point A to B? And that's all they want to know. On Instagram, they want to know that too, but they also want to know, you know, what you cooked today. They want to
Yeah.
know, you know, what makes you smile. They want to know what you wore.
Right.
They want to know, you know, how you've been able to curl your hair. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a different need that they're looking for. You know, people want to
Yeah.
go for LinkedIn for business. People want to go to Instagram for business. But I would say entertaining business is what they
Yes.
go to Instagram for, and entertainment as well. And so knowing that has helped build our engagement because
Mm-hmm.
of the way that we feed people, you know, our content. And I think also just being authentic has really
Yeah.
helped as well.
Yeah.
You know, people rock out with authenticity and they rock out with realness. And so that's been a major kind of ingredient in our recipe for
Mm-hmm.
engagement.
Did you, so putting yourself out there, because you do a lot of personal talk, which I like, and videos and stuff like that. In the beginning, did you ever receive any like judgment because people were like, now they knew a little bit about your life and things like that, and did that discourage you at sometimes?
I mean, the conversation I had earlier today, she was like, do you know how beautiful you are, and you know your curves and your, you know, Latina flair? And I knew the reason why she was asking me that. She was asking me that because I flaunt it, right? She was asking me that because I put myself front center, like, see me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I had to make a decision to myself a long time ago where, you know, was I going to play their game or was I going to play my game, right? And so that was a decision I had to make. And, you know, some days I wake up and I want to play their game. Other days, most days, I want to play my game. So, you know, I made that decision for myself because I also come from corporate. I've been there, done that. I know what it takes to live in that mold and to get that type of attention. I know what it takes, but I also know that I want to live life on my terms and I want to do it my way, and I can do it my way because
Right.
I've gotten opportunities, right? So it's coming to me. You're always going to be judged. Someone
Yeah.
is always going to say something about what you wear, how you say it. Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking about this topic. Oh my God, she just cursed. She's so unprofessional. And I came up with this tagline earlier, and it is, you are a person first and a professional second. Always keep that in mind.
I
Don't
like
you
that.
lose that human element. You are a person first and a professional second. And whoever can respect that, they're not your crowd. Whoever can't respect that, they're not your client. Whoever can't respect that, you don't want to work for that company because you're not a cultural fit and you're going to be miserable. And so a lot of it is self-awareness and coming to terms with who you are and why you are and just owning it at
Right.
1000%. But you're going to get that type of ridicule anywhere you go. I remember I gave a keynote at a Fortune 500 company. It was like in front of 5,000 people. And I was looking at the feedback, and I'm looking through the feedback, and it was like, oh, okay, they're messing with me. They like this. Then one piece of feedback out of nowhere, and I was like, I bet you this was a woman, was like, I don't know if she was pregnant, but her dress was really tight. And you would think in a corporate feedback survey, like, why does that matter? Why does that matter?
Right.
Right?
Right.
But people are going to say things, you know, especially if you give them the space to do it. Like, they're going to say what they want to say. And it's kind of like, you need to figure out, like, what do you want to do? Because once you understand what you want to do and who you are, anybody can say what they want to say. Sure, everybody feels a punch. Nobody can say they don't feel a punch, but you can train yourself just like a boxer that when you get punched, you keep coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get knocked out. And so that judgment and, you know, that kind of raise of an eyebrow or two, I want to do that because, hey, I got your attention now.
That is
I got
true.
your attention now. So you're going to be paying
That is
attention to
true.
me now. So what's up?
Yes.
You know? And so to
Right.
me, that's a win. When I got you talking about me, it's a win. Would I prefer that people don't talk shit? Of course. But are they? Yes. And
Yeah.
as you continue to grow in your career and as you continue to gain accolades, even if you're the most polished person, there's going to be haters.
They're
Look
gonna
at
find out.
Obama, haters. Michelle Obama,
Mm-hmm.
haters. Everyone that we feel is like doing their thing, haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, right? In his Last Dance
Mm-hmm.
documentary, haters. You know, so there's always going to be someone that's going to say something. What you need to do is just make sure that you're good with you. That's all
Right.
that matters. That you're
Right.
good with you, because if you're good with you, the rest is irrelevant, and it will help you to show up in the way that you want to every day and not show up in how everybody else wants you to show up.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, 1000%. You have to have a little bit of thick skin, to kind of like put yourself out there and things like that. Because also in the corporate world, they do the same thing. They do the same judgment. They do the same everything, especially if you're like a black and brown girl, like I'm Latina, I have curly hair too. Like
My
I
reviews, every single
heard it
review
all.
in corporate, every single review. And, I made it far in corporate. Like, I did well in corporate, but every single review was, Victoria, you good, girl. You good. But you know what? We're going to need you to tone it down. You need to
Mm,
tone it down a little bit. And I'm like, why you always trying to turn off my light? That's my magic.
right,
That's what I bring to the
right,
table. You know what I mean? If
right,
I'm making people uncomfortable, that's not my problem. That's their problem. You know what
right.
I mean? Like, maybe this culture, you don't have the appetite for somebody like me, but you're going to miss
Mm,
out on my ideas and the value that I bring to the table, right?
exactly.
And that's been my feedback even now. The mentor that I spoke to earlier, she wasn't telling me tone it down. She wanted to make sure that I was cool with the understanding that, you raising eyebrows out here. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool with it. And I want more eyebrows raised. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because that's going to bring me even more attention, and I
exactly.
can control that narrative because I never do anything that I feel is out of my character, or
Right.
that I feel I stepped over the line. I feel comfortable with it. So for me, it's like, what are you gonna say about me that I can't say about myself? I love everything that I do. So what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
Exactly.
Period. Um, So yeah, for anybody out there that's ever been gotten that feedback or feel like, you know, people tell you you're too much or you need to tone it down, be too much and tone it up. Be too much and tone it up. I want to be premium. I don't want to be
Yes.
basic. I want to be
Right.
premium. So I want to tone it up. You know, I want to be like Louboutin. I look good and it hurts. You know?
Right.
That's what I
I
want
like that. I like that.
to be. And so that's how I carry myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that it's true. Listen, you have to be comfortable with yourself and just speak up. That's something that I've had to learn because of my introverted background. But definitely speak up and be comfortable with yourself, be comfortable with who you are, and everything else shouldn't matter. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So, what do we have coming up with the Female Collaborative? I know we're in quarantine, but I know you're cooking
Yeah.
up some good stuff.
Yeah,
And
we're
by the
definitely
way,
cooking.
yes, I want to let everyone know that I did attend your Female Collaborative gathering. It was super great. And I tell you, like, just the amazing women that were in the building, the women that I met, just, super professional women, but totally laid back, lots of love in there. So, yeah, it was really great. So, what do you have cooking up?
Dope. So what I have cooking up. So first we're ramping up our membership benefits for anyone who needs like a squad of women who are doing amazing things and want to add to that, meaning you're also doing amazing things and want to collaborate and make some magic, definitely join, become a member, thefemalecollaborative.com. Because there's a lot going on. We just had a virtual meetup with our members and it was so dope. Everyone connected. It was like people were literally like throwing out side conversations like we need to connect after this. And they just met for the first time as a member
Right.
virtually, which I thought was cool. We do leadership training. We do group coaching, quarterly giveaways. It's just a really dope community. And so building more around that and feeding more into that is definitely on the horizon. We have some events coming up over the next couple of weeks. A virtual event. We're seeing if the fall is going to allow for in person, but really we're planning for virtual everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about the Woman Who Roar Summit for 2021, which is going to be
Yes.
big, right? That's our baby, which we love. And that summit, you know, brings together over 150 women to basically revitalize their soul and get their mind sharper to bring it back to their business, to bring it back to their office, whatever it is. That's what that event is for. So we're planning for that. What else are we planning for? We're building out like a new membership portal for our members. Right now we're building out our strategy, our 3 to 5 year strategy on what we're going to do. So we're definitely keeping busy and making sure we're always delivering value and making sure that we're always inviting amazing women to be a part of this community and making sure that there's an exchange happening, right? Because that's the whole reason why we exist. And so right now, if you're in a position where you're like, I need to expand my network, or I need to find, you know, partners who do this, or I need to get into this company, becoming a member of the Female Collab is helpful. We have 50 plus industries represented there from different levels of expertise. We've got entrepreneurs in there. So that's also something that makes us different is we're the first network that has both entrepreneurs as well as professionals. So, you know, there's that cross-pollination for you to get clients, for you to get a job. Like it really is what you put in is what you get out, just like a gym membership. But we're providing you, hey, here's the hub. Here's all the
Right.
resources right here. How you going to pick at them? You know, how you going to take
Yes.
advantage of them? So definitely highly encourage everybody to become a member of the Female Collaborative and check us out.
That's awesome. I definitely can't wait for your webinar. I will be there.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yes. So before we go, let's talk about Women Who Roar, your IG Live series. And you did mention a little bit about it earlier, but let everyone know, what's the concept behind it. And it's been going super great. So definitely share that with everyone.
Yeah. So the Women Who Roar series is meant to highlight and feature culture shifters, so women who are shifting the culture, disruptors, women who are, you know, pushing the boundaries, women who are breaking through the glass ceiling, as well as female icons. And it really started as an escape for me, because I was like, I need to talk to people, I need to engage, I need to learn, I need to be inspired. And so this, the series has become like my joy and my release from, the tensions that we're all under. But it's really been dope to see how many people have bought into it. We've had over 3.5 million digital reach with the series, which is like insane, which is like the most reach I've had on anything that I worked on. And
That's
it's happened
awesome.
during a pandemic. So this is what I'm saying, like, guys, just give it some thought. You got something, you sitting on something. And it's been a fun ride. It's been really fun having everybody tune in and listen to these stories. Like, I've taken notes from these stories, and they've been women that I admire or that I've always wanted to connect it to
Yeah.
on the gram, that I follow and I see, and I'm like, hey, to me, you're a woman who roars. I need you on this show.
Yeah.
And we need to inspire, motivate, and educate. And it was a way to kind of bring us together while we are apart, was the whole premise behind it.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to see who you're bringing next. They've all been really, really great and amazing. Yes.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So I guess leave us with like some positive thoughts. Leave us with some encouraging words, some motivating words. In dealing with what's left of this pandemic and this quarantine, and especially during the summertime now.
Yeah, I think what I'll say is, we all are magical. We all have gifts, and we all are unique. The difference between you seeing people who have their gifts and their magic versus you actually believing in yourself that you do is they did the work to understand what it is that makes them magical and what it is that makes them incredible, and they believed it, right? And they held on to it, and then they decided that they were going to share it with the world. So regardless if you believe it or not, all of you are special. All of you are dope as hell. All of you have something in you. You need to just bring it out of you so the rest of the world can experience it too. And if you don't, you're being selfish. You're being selfish because you have a
Yeah.
gift and you're holding on to it. It's like the versus battle that just happened with Jill Scott and Erica Badu. It was so dope. And Jill basically was like, as a writer, if you hold on to that writing, you're selfish. Like, that doesn't belong to you.
Right.
And so your magic belongs to you to an extent where you need to protect your energy, but your magic in terms of the influence you have on this world does not belong to you, because we all need to live on this planet together, and we all need to thrive together, and we all need to exchange our resources, our gifts, and our magic so that we all can be better, both as humans and professionally as well. And so a lot of folks have become discouraged by this pandemic and feel insecure because they feel lost and they feel like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I don't, they're operating in the gray right now. And what I'll say to that is, get comfortable operating in the gray and living in ambiguity, because that is where you really find out who you are and why you are. And that's easier said than done. You have to force yourself to do it. You have to force yourself to do it. And I'll give you an exercise that has worked very well. I tell this exercise to my clients. Get yourself some Post-its. Write affirmations on these Post-its. Write what you want to be. Write how you want to be perceived. Write that you're a badass and you're freaking incredible. And put those Post-its in places that you see every day. Your bathroom, your kitchen, your refrigerator, because I know a lot of us are going in our refrigerator, your bedroom. And every time you see the Post-it, recite it out loud, because what you put out into the universe matters. And it will start to shift your mindset and your thinking, and you will start to feel less intense inside by doing this exercise. So highly encourage you all to do this exercise. I do it. It works very well with me. Yes, the Mary Jane notes. Exactly. I was like, when I saw Mary Jane, and I was like, She's stealing my exercise. But think about it. A woman as successful as Mary Jane, you would think that she has it all together and she doesn't need no affirmation. She doesn't need to be motivated. So yes, even the strong people need motivation, and they need their own affirmations and their own self-talk. That is how you get to know yourself and love yourself, is you got to talk to yourself. And
Yeah.
so those affirmations matter, and they're helpful, and definitely something I encourage you guys to do.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for bringing all this magic tonight, this
You're
Latina
welcome.
magic.
It's
I
my
love
pleasure.
it. Yes, I've missed you. It was so great to
I
see
miss
your
you too.
face. It was so great to get all this information and your great energy. Thank you so much for filling our space this hour. And,
My
you know,
pleasure.
I commend you for everything that you're doing. And you know that you have my full support.
Thank
And, you
you.
know, just thank you. Thank you for being a fearless, badass Latina. I really appreciate you.
Let's do it, mama. Thank
Yes.
you so much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. Enjoy your weekend. Stay your ass home.
Yes. All right. Take care, mama. Have a
All
good
right. Bye,
night.
mama.
All right. Bye. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live this evening. I'm going to take a little break, and we have Island Life Kitchen coming on. Damaris, we're going to cook a little something together. So I'm going to take a little break, but thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Victoria.